Hey, what's up? It's Comic 95 the Savior, and today will be a Ren's Japanese journal. Because of the nature of this video and the title, I'm gonna have to do my little recap and explain some things to you guys. So before I get started, I want to explain that these journal videos are me talking about my life here in Japan. This is not a feel-good video. This is not a Japan is wonderful, whatever type space. I'm talking about my real day-to-day life here. If you cannot handle someone talking about negative stuff, don't watch this content. If you want to hear about how wonderful and perfect and everything's cupcakes and rainbows, this is not the video for you. You can literally watch any other channel based on Japan and find all of that fake shit. This is real life. Sometimes what I talk about will be happy and wonderful and this, that, and the other, but it's a journal. Journal meaning that I'm going to talk about my feelings. And just as you would write inside of your journal, it's normally going to be about things that make you sad, that make you angry, things you wish you did, things you wish you did not do. Well, that's what this is. If you don't want to hear that, then watch someone else's content. Please also go back and check out my old journal videos so that this way you can get an idea as to what type of stuff I talk about here. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let me also give a few disclosures. I've been living in Japan for 10 years. Almost 10 years. My husband is Japanese. My baby is half Japanese, and in addition to that, I've worked here. I've studied here. I've lived in several different cities across the country. I speak Japanese. I don't need your 2 cents on what you think will make my life better or easier, etc. No, thank you. Didn't ask for your opinion. I'm telling you my story. So, anyway, there are moments where I do ask your opinion and thoughts, but I'm just putting that out there because I know somebody's going to be like, well, in Japan, ma'am, I live there. I don't need your thoughts on what you think Japan is like. So, anyway, now that we have that out of the way, sorry for your feelings, come off as rude, but I don't give a fuck. It's annoying dealing with people leaving comments trying to school you on shit that you probably know more about than they do. So, anything that I don't know, I can ask my husband about or my in-laws about. So, or my friends. Let me get into the video by saying this. As it should go without saying, I obviously have been living here as long as I do because I do overall like Japan. But like with any country, any place, especially when you are a foreigner living in a foreign place to you, there are going to be things that I dislike, challenges that I come across, things that I don't deal with in the US, and things that I also know are, well, very different here in Japan. For example, Japan is still living in its Jim Crow era. They're legally allowed to do things that are supposed to be illegal, but nobody actually checks. The police are well aware of stuff going on here that is illegal, but there's no real law to stop it. It's hard to explain. Like, Japan is actually very similar to, like, China in many ways. And I don't even mean that to, like, be funny or shady, but, like, just keeping it real. I see, like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. The Japanese have a very Mexican police type style, where it's like, they can be paid off or like turn their nose to crime, and then in other moments they suddenly care so much about crime. That's the best way that I can put it. And what I mean by that is, like, they know that these like brothels, these sketchy bars that are robbing, beating, and leaving people to die on the side of the street, waking up in pools of blood, not even exaggerating. They know that this is happening. They know that rape happens. They know that people are being scammed and losing money. There's cameras all over Tokyo. Actually, I'm gonna say I dated. I had a police officer student whose job was literally to monitor the cameras around Tokyo and keep tabs on Yakuza. They know what's going on. They just don't do shit. But that's another story. So here goes my thing. They allow things to go on that are supposed to be illegal on paper, right? But nobody actually enforces the law. And if the law is not going to be enforced, then it's basically legal. This is how I got into arguing with these black guys. Or was it a black guy? I don't remember. But somebody tried to like argue me, oh, like prostitution isn't legal in Japan. If no one stops you from doing it, it's legal then. Let's be honest. There's not law saying it's completely legal to sell your body, right? But if you allow brothels under the disguise of don't go all the way, girls, what is it? Same thing with these hostess clubs. For the right price, they will fuck you. They fuck each other. That's another story about the host and hostesses. But alright, we're not going to get into that for today. Here goes my thing. I live here because I like Japan, right? But I'm also not so hardcore weeboo-ish that I cannot acknowledge problems that exist. Likewise, I love my home country. I love the US. I'm an American at heart. I'm an American by citizenship. And while I did initially think that I wanted to give up and renounce my citizenship, I never planned to. And I know that it hurts your feelings for the weeboos here that hate me, and you hate the idea that somebody like me is living your dream life in Japan, and you would give anything to be here. But sorry, not my problem, not my issue. I don't give a crap. Sorry. Sucks to be you. But anyway, back on subject. I can distinguish and separate my love for Japan from the problems that Japan still has. I love America, but I don't have to pretend like racism doesn't exist. That, white people can season chicken. Like, I can acknowledge, I'm sorry, y'all. I can acknowledge that bad things exist. I can acknowledge that, black gang violence in poor neighborhoods. Look, I can say it, I'm black, just keeping it real. I can acknowledge that there are issues with America, but I can also talk about things that I like there. For example, Chicago got the best food in the country, but that's another story. So I can acknowledge the things that I like. I can talk about things that I like, but I can also talk about things that are wrong, things that need to be fixed, things that need to change. And so please understand that when I make these videos, I'm sorry that you're not mature and adult enough. I know Gen Z struggles with this so much, where their brains don't seem to be able to comprehend someone liking something. I would even say millennials have this problem too. Someone liking something is okay, but also understand someone disliking something is also okay. Someone praising and raving about something does not mean that there are not other issues. For example, if I praise Japan, then somebody else chimes in, well, Japan's not wonderful because X, Y, and Z. Have you not seen my catalog of videos in which I bitch about Japan? And then the one time that I give them praise for something, then people get mad at me for not ripping Japan a new one. And so in this situation, everyone's always making super positive, happy-go-lucky, joyful videos about Japan and about, oh, Japan's in the future, try this, do whatever. And a lot of the videos are complete bullshit. It's not even like a matter of people just talking about the good, but rather people lying to you. I ain't gonna say no names, but I've watched videos of some people in which they're telling you how cool and fun something is and how good something tastes, and you try it and it's like, even if you had no taste buds and you are allergic to salt and sugar, there's no way you ate that and thought that it tastes good. Does it look nice? Sure. In fact, you'll notice for some of them, they spend more time praising what it looks like than how it actually tastes or how it actually works. Which, that's cool. Just be honest and disclose that. But anyway, because everyone's so used to listening to liars, me telling the truth makes me sound crazy and like a bitter-ass hater. But whatever. Not gonna go there with you guys today. Just wanted to explain to you as I go forward with this video. So, it was really funny to me because I just got through making a video yesterday about how foreigners are finally starting to see the issues here in Japan, because now racism is on a rise. People are using the excuse of the yen being weak and over tourism here as an excuse to show their true, can't say racist, don't say xenophobic anymore. Remember guys, they took that word away from you weeboos that were in denial that Japan is racist. You can't call them either of those things. And the funniest thing is, they told you not to call them xenophobic, and like I said, they've been spending the entire month or two afterwards proving that they are indeed xenophobic and racist. But that's another joke within itself. We're not going to get into that. I made another video about that. I just made a video about that less than 24 hours ago, right? Talking about how the only good to come out of this is, now that more white foreigners in particular are starting to have the experiences that I've been talking about for the longest, now that they're finally starting to see this stuff more often, people that have been living here for even longer than I have, or shorter periods of time than I have, including people on vacation, are starting to report their bad experiences with Japanese people. Now, all of a sudden, I don't sound so crazy anymore. But it's sad that it took lots of people being angry and direct and confronting you for you to finally acknowledge the subliminal things. And now white people are scared to walk outside their house, trying so hard to be a good little Gaijin, and it's like, this is the issue. You shouldn't have to do that. You should have the same equal grace that they do. I'm not encouraging you guys to break rules, be a nuisance, whatever, a menace to society. It's not what I'm trying to say. But I am saying the idea that you have to be perfect 24/7, you can't make any mistakes, there's no exceptions, no understanding of why you may be in such a position, why you may be behaving the way that you do. But whenever a Japanese person does something, we have to give them all the excuses under the sun. There's a reason why they're in a bad mood. There's a reason why this person stinks. Anything you could think of. There is a reason why. And the most common one is they're not Japanese, or number two, oh, they are Japanese, but that's a Tokyo person. They're a Tokyoite. They're not from, this area, or, whatever. They're from Osaka. There's always an excuse. They can't take accountability and own up for their own poor behavior. So anyway, that's another topic. But this is the part that tickled me. So I went to go get my computer fixed, which was one part of why I haven't been uploading content for a while. I keep having problems, you guys. Fix one problem, another one arises. So I'm gonna have to backtrack the story to explain it, but I want to talk about my commute there. As I was getting close to the place, I was getting ready to cross this intersection, and I'm waiting for the light to change, and this guy on a bicycle is riding his bike, and I guess that he thought that I was gonna cut in front of him. So he's on his bike, and I don't know if he was on his phone or if he was using the GPS, I don't know what. He lets out this nasty type cough thing as he's getting ready to cross in front of me. And I'm not gonna lie, the Japanese in me, my inner Sachiko thought, I want to cut this nigga off, because that's exactly what they would do to me. But then I was like, no, I'm gonna let him go. And this happened, 2.5 seconds, you all. I let him go, and I guess in his mind, he thinks that he was pedaling his bike fast enough to go in front of me. He's like, no, sir, I slowed down to let you go. because I'd rather not risk you hitting me in the side with your bike, especially since I'm wearing leggings. I don't want my shit to rip. FYI, I'm wearing a tunic. Nobody's seeing my pussy or my ass. And I also have on a backpack. I'm dressed modestly. And my shirt is also baggy, too. It covers all the way down to practically my, upper thighs. The shirt. So anyway, I'm thinking to myself, what is up with them doing this type of cowardly type stuff? And it's mostly Japanese men. I'll also, say that. It's not normally the women. Japanese women do this shit, too. But I'm noticing it more with men. That cowardly behavior, not to mention, it's like, how can they will literally cough in your face, say shit about you to your face, and then they'll walk away feeling like the Japanese should be proud of themselves because they're so polite and so nice, this, that, and the other. And this is the problem that I have. See, foreigners that are tourists here, you don't notice this shit. You just think, okay, he had to cough. But not to mention, isn't it gross they don't cover their mouths, or they don't wash their hands, they don't cover their mouths, they pick their nose, they pick their ears. They commonly do this in public. It's not a one-off person. I mean, it's a regular thing. And I thought I had problems with white people doing this shit, because don't get me wrong, my experience is working with some white people in the U.S., some of y'all don't wash y'all hands either. So I even watched the whole podcast, not gonna go into detail, say any names, where they were literally talking about how they don't wash their hands in public. So look, I'll give Japan a little bit of a pass there, but it's everyone here. It's rare to find someone that actually actively washes their hands in every circumstance when they've touched something dirty. They will literally go to a public restroom, go back outside, dig in their nose, eat food, all of this without washing their hands. And now I see why you guys need Oshibori. Now I understand. And even then it's gross, because I wonder, it's like, do these actually get thoroughly cleaned? I worked inside of a restaurant before where they got like deliveries, but I don't know if they actually sanitize them hoes. They probably just wash them with, like, literally put some cold water on them bitches and roll them back up. But that's another story. We're not going to talk about that right now. So, I got a little pissed off. And I'm like, like you have those moments where it's like, you want to do something, or you wanted to do something, but like you didn't think of it in the moment. My brain is focused on trying to find this place. I'm hot and sweaty. I have my fan out. I got turned around a little bit. And, I'm trying to make sure that I can get back and avoid the rush hour. As I was just saying in the video yesterday, I was like, I don't like going out during rush hour. I always try to avoid that. And so my plan was, I'm finally going to get my computer fixed. It's expensive. And to me, it's like, I don't want to get a new computer because I have stuff on this computer that I wanted to, edit that I don't think that I still have it, like, in my cloud. I think it's only on that computer. So I've been wanting to do this for months, and it kept getting put off. And every time that I had the money, I ended up wasting it in, like, buying food and buying clothes and, just doing whatever. And so, anyway, not going to get into all of that because I can make this 3-hour video explaining what happened with that. And so I'm walking past that, and I'm just mad. I'm like, part of me wants to, like, go back and follow the guy and, like, take his photo so I can, like, show him to you guys. And I was like, no, don't stoop down to his level. Take the Kristen route. Be the bigger person. Let God deal with him. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling you guys my thoughts and feelings. I was pissed the fuck off. And all I can do is think to myself, I have never seen anyone ever do that to them in the U.S. And also beyond that, I would never do that to a Japanese person in the U.S. I wouldn't be bold enough to confront somebody that's a foreigner or a resident boldly like that. But it amazes me how they feel empowered and bold to be a bully towards you because you don't look like them or you come from another country. And then the other dumb thing about it is, like, this is the time that you all need to be kissing ass to the U.S. or really any other country for this matter. If China or North Korea goes after Japan, who's gonna save them besides the U.S.? Because they can't protect themselves. And beyond just that, Japan don't really have France. Well, they have fans. They don't have friends. They don't have anybody that has their back, really, besides the U.S. South Korea is going to be South Korea first. Everybody else, too small, not powerful enough. And when you even think about the other countries that they're friends with, it's really the U.S. military bases in those respective countries that are going to be helping protect Japan, not those countries themselves. For example, the Philippines kisses Japan's ass, but Japan don't even like the Philippines. And the real military help on them is going to be the U.S., not so much the Philippine army. But ain't finna get into that shit. That's another story. It just blows my mind. It's like, you all have the threat of a nuclear war, North Korea with their missiles. You have China that would, more than likely, if they're going to try to take back Taiwan, they're going to have to deal with Japan to avoid the U.S. interfering. Japan will be struck first. I don't wish anything bad on them, but I'm just saying, you all are treating people poorly when not only is your country at risk, but your yen is fucking worth nothing. You're literally encouraging people to not give you all money, which is going to hurt your economy, which I'm sure that's already going to start happening soon, if it hasn't already. And number two, you're making it where nobody going to feel sad when y'all end up as a fucking blimp on a map or some shit, the way that y'all acting. So don't get me wrong, I understand there are issues with the U.S. military bases, the history of it, but at the same time, it's like, this is not the time to argue, bitch, complain, whine about that. You need protection. And you don't have enough time or enough money to build up your military right now. You need years and tons of training. And this is also never going to happen anyway because your population is on the decline. You don't have enough young men. You don't have enough babies. They can't defend or protect themselves, even if they wanted to. So y'all talk a lot of bark, big talk on Twitter, but in real life, y'all be fucked if the U.S. decide not to protect you. Which, to be honest, I don't know how much the U.S. really plans to protect Japan. Just keeping it real. But that's another story. Not my problem. But it kind of is. Okay, fine. I care about my children. I care about my husband. And I do like Japan as a country, but I'm not gonna lie. It's hard for me to feel love towards a country that treats me and people like me like shit. I mean, think about it. They wouldn't like the U.S. if the U.S. was still treating Japanese people like garbage. In fact, we praise them a lot more than they praise us. Like, so much so to the point, even me talking about something like this, there's gonna be an American in my comment section kissing Japan's ass. I love sushi. I love Japanese girls. It's my dream to go to Japan. I worship them. They're so perfect. They're so clean. They're so holy. You'll get that nonstop all day. Watch any video talking about Japanese culture, Japanese food. They worship the fuck out of them. Now, find a video talking about how wonderful and perfect America is. And not only will you see other Americans shitting on the U.S., but if it's a Japanese person talking, you're not going to see Japanese people chiming in and saying, hey, you're wrong. My experience in the U.S. was wonderful. At best, you might see somebody say, well, my spouse is, American and, I love them. But yeah, America is horrible. They don't have no problem talking shit about us. But God forbid we say something bad about their country, even if it's not meant to be malicious, but rather to talk about a real experience. And in this case, I'm not looking for bad shit to talk about Japanese people, but I'm not going to lie and sugarcoat and make their country sound good when it's fucking not. And in this situation, I'm sorry, I have enough brains to understand this racist guy does not represent everyone. But this is literally less than 24 hours from another guy on a bike doing something racist right in front of my face at an intersection. And in that case, that was literally right around the corner from my place. In this case, I just got off the train, and I'm not going to tell you guys where I was because we're about to get into that part of the video, but I was on my way to go to this electronics store. And it's hurtful, but you know what? I've been living here for a long time. I'm used to it. I have low expectations for Japanese people at this point. And to be honest, I'm more impressed by people that aren't racist that are very nice. The bar is just fucking low for them, like, to me at this point. Like, and to be honest, it's low for you guys too. Like, y'all think that them bowing is them being polite, and it's like, that's the equivalent of saying that, oh, Americans are so friendly because we say, how are you? Which some people do think that. But it's like, I said this before, it's just out of formality. We don't really give a fuck how you are. Some people do. But generally speaking, every American is not some fucking empath and shit. Like, they don't... The person asking how are you could be the most racist, redneck, KKK, whatever, Nazi in the world. They're just doing it because it's their job. They're doing it because they've been culturally taught to do it. They don't really care how you are. In fact, if you answer that question legitimately, either one, we're going to feel like you're bragging about yourself, or two, we're going to, okay, I know, right? You have cancer, your dog just died, oh, boo-hoo, so sad, okay, awkward, I don't want to talk to you this long, all right, bye. Like, we don't want to get into a deep conversation with you. But you would think that. Okay, well, likewise, bowing has a much deeper, more respectful meaning in Western culture. So for us, bowing is, oh, they're so polite. And I'm not gonna lie, does it make me feel good when they bow? Yeah. But I understand that same person that's bowing to me, the moment that I walk out of the store, they probably gonna be laughing and talking shit about me. So it's like, I don't get that impressed by it anymore. When they treat me well and I get good service from them, I talk about it. I brag about it. I brag about Sujita. I bragged about the Okonomiyaki shop. Like, I don't mind when they do treat me well. But I will also be honest, when I really think about the best experiences that I've had here in Japan, they were arguably really more so from other foreigners and not Japanese people, but rather a company that hired foreigners and the foreign staff went above and beyond to make me feel good about my experience. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that none of them are nice and none of them have treated me well. I've had great experiences with them too. I will never forget some of my most memorable experiences with them. Such as when I went to the train station and a Japanese guy literally wrote a map to me in English explaining which track to take and explained to me in English which train to take. I remember being on the JR Chuo line and Chuo, whatever, I think it's Chuo, the yellow line. And I was new here, and I think, was I going for an interview in Akihabara? I can't remember anymore, but long story short, I was going somewhere in Akihabara, and I didn't know where, was it in Akihabara? I wasn't going to see a date. I don't remember anymore, y'all. I'm getting old. That was like 10 years ago almost. And the guy explained to me that this was the last stop on the train, and he even helped me figure out which train to get on to get where I needed to go. Nobody on the train explained to me, hey, you gotta get off the train. This was new to me. Now, after living in Japan, I understand that they have announcements explaining to you, typically in Japanese, that this is the last stop and that everybody has to get off the train, even though it's not, the last station, on that route, but they're gonna, either change the driver or whatever, or the train is gonna be cleaned and out of service for the time being. And that was confusing as fuck to me as a foreigner that's new to Japan. I lived here, but I hadn't been living here for that long, and I didn't speak Japanese. I couldn't even read and write hiragana, katakana, nothing. Couldn't even write my name. Couldn't even read my name. Like, I knew nothing. And so it was thanks to him helping me. So I'm not going to tell you guys that everyone's bad here. My first taxi ride here, the guy gave me basically a free ride. He waited for me to sign all my documents to stay at my share house, and I was trying to rush, but I wasn't going fast enough. Then, even after he waited for me for an hour inside of there to sign paperwork, and that was with them rushing, because I didn't try to rush them at first. I didn't know that was an option. And they were like, oh, you're waiting. And I was like, oh, we can hurry this up now. So they just gave me all the paperwork, and I was like, oh, if I knew I could do that, I would have said that, but I wasn't trying to be rude. It was my first day in Japan, literally. And it was at night, and they were getting ready to close, and, there was a lot going on. That guy not only waited that long, he didn't have an attitude when I came back, and then even when he was driving me back to my share house, he couldn't find the place, didn't get an attitude with me, didn't get angry, didn't blame me, and mind you, I had no cell phone, no Japanese to English dictionary, I had no way to communicate with him. He drove around for 20-30 minutes asking for directions, instead of just being like how most taxi drivers would have done, and been like, well, we're in the area, get the fuck out of the car, pay, I already paid in advance, so he could have charged me more, or whatever. He didn't do none of that shit. He took the time to find where to go. He literally got out of his taxi and went around asking people where my share house was, and eventually found it on his own. Didn't complain, didn't argue, wouldn't accept the tip, wouldn't allow me to, pay him more money, and then my brain went blank. I couldn't even remember how to say thank you in Japanese. I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. So I've had some wonderful experiences with them. I know that they're not all crappy. I'm married to a Japanese man. I don't need you guys to school me on, not everyone's racist, not everyone's bad. Well, let me also be honest with you. Well, not everyone is. A lot of people are. Likewise, my experiences with white people in real life, I've never truly encountered an actual, hardcore racist person. I've encountered people that have some racist ideas, but my experiences have been very limited. I've seen stuff with strangers, and I've seen people do things that come off as prejudice, but I've never had some hardcore experience with some super anti-black, I hate niggers type person. I've seen people that I suspect could have felt that way, but I've never been called the N-word in real life. I've never had someone hang up nooses and shit in my front yard. I don't have those experiences. Now, my brother has had that experience, and I also have seen them put flyers out on our cars at the mall. There's a KKK organization near where my parents live, but that's another story. So, anyway, back on subject. Just because how can I put it? Just because your experience is great doesn't mean that all experiences with them is going to be great. The reality is, while there are wonderful Japanese people, racist and bad people exist. While there are wonderful white people, racist and bad white people exist too. In fact, being on Twitter is a real eye-opener. Twitter and YouTube. Because you see all of these closeted people that claim, I don't see color, I like everyone, I don't make differences, we don't need affirmative action, we don't need DEI. And then you see how they talk about black people and other minorities on Twitter, and it's oh, these are the same we don't see color bandits. And the funny thing is too, it's not all of them are like this, but most of them are, I would argue. You're doing something wrong when you're afraid to show your face. You are. Because if you're afraid of someone seeing what you look like, seeing where you work, not necessarily know where you work, but you know what I mean. Your fear is them contacting your job. It's because you're doing something wrong. Otherwise, you wouldn't care if people see your face. Because, for example, myself. Unless you worked with me, I'm not worried about you all knowing. I don't work anymore. I'm a housewife. But I was never worried about you all knowing where I work. I just didn't say the name of my company. You want to know why? If you do bother to do the research and figure out exactly who hired me, where I worked, what my salary was, etc., you can go ahead and do that, but I don't have shit to hide. Now, to avoid putting the company's name out there and being, whatever, unnecessarily to that place, I don't feel the need to do that. And of course, I do want privacy. But I know that nothing that I said was a lie or was wrong. So I don't feel fearful. But sure, if you're going to spew hateful, whatever type crap, then you are afraid. And that's exactly what you see with Japanese people. Now, these people are a little bit of the exception. Because fine, they're talking to you in real life, right? But you'll see how they really feel on places like Twitter. where they're using usernames that you can't trace back to them because, I mean, you could trace it back to them if you want to bother to do that. I know how to do that. But I mean, like, you can't trace it back without having to spend extensive time figuring out, like, IP addresses, who this person is, where they're at, etc. Generally speaking, they use usernames that are not traceable. Qtip75438X, like, nothing dealing with Japan, nothing dealing with their favorite anime, nothing that you could possibly link back to, oh, this is that person. And it's scary thinking, same thing with white people in the U.S. These same racist, evil, mean, bullying people, these people are serving you at restaurants. These people are helping you at the train station. These people are your taxi drivers. These are the people that you might even be having one-night stands with. They're saying all of this racist, evil stuff online and acting like angels when they see you in person. That's scary. I've given my own accounts and stories of this before. I've literally had people where I had to cancel the date due to either one, not having enough money back when I was a college student, honestly was broke, didn't have money to go on a date, or, just wasn't feeling good, my skin was bad, whatever the case was, I didn't want to go. And the person will go from, being nice to you, wanting to hang out with you, wanting to sleep with you, wanting to date you, and then suddenly get hit with racist messages. And it's like, I didn't stand you up. I told you in advance. I can't go. This made you suddenly send if somebody's saying that I have to cancel a date with you makes you suddenly become a racist, you were racist all along. A lot of Japanese people got anger issues, mentally off, but that's another story. So anyway, like for example, myself, I've had them cancel dates on me, and it never crosses my mind to send them hateful racist messages in response. I might think you're a fuckboy, that you were playing me, but it never crosses my mind to start spewing racial slurs to you because you decide that you don't want to go on a date with me anymore. Same thing goes if a Japanese guy tells me he doesn't like me. My brain does not instantly go to saying all of these racist things about Japanese people. You have the right to not find me attractive. That does not make me suddenly become a racist and start saying evil things to you that are, racially charged, motivated, whatever. So anyway, off of that. That hurt my feelings, but like I said, I'm used to it at this point, and now I feel more impressed when I come across nice Japanese people than I do when I come across mean and racist ones. So, whatever. If nothing else, I will say that when I came back, my neighbors were nice to me. Like, I had 2 different neighbors that I saw, which I've been seeing them more recently, I don't know why, and they both spoke to me as I was entering and leaving the building, and that made me feel good. So, hey, that was my trade-off for the day. So, back on topic. This is the issue of my video. I just wasted half of it talking about this. Y'all. I get to the place and I'm early, right? They don't open for like another 14 minutes. So I thought to just go inside, but I was like, no, I want to respect their hours. It says they're not open till, this time. I'm not even going to say the time. So, and again, if you guys want to look for the place, you can find it very easily. I'm just not going to say the name because I have my reasons. So, and I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or wrong. You probably will be right if you guess where I went because it's very easy to guess. And just let you know, I didn't leave another review. I left it alone because in this case, I didn't get any service done. So I was like, I'm not even going to bother. Like, I should leave a review, but I'm going to leave it at just making this video. So anyway, y'all, I wait outside. It's hot. I have my fan on, and everybody's like just looking at me that's driving by, like taking like a double look or whatever. And so, like, I don't care, whatever. Nobody said anything to me. Nobody bothered me. And I waited for them to open on my phone, listen to music, whatever. They finally opened. I waited an extra minute, and I saw that the door was unlocked because Yamato came and dropped off a package. So even though they came before the place was open, they just walked straight in, opened up the door, and the door was open, and they were able to, go in and drop off the package. And so I thought to go in. I was like, no, just wait. It's only a few more minutes left. So I go inside. The person greets me, and mind you, this is now my second time going to the store, and I contacted them like 3 different times before. So let me also give that information. I contacted this company back in January to ask them about, fixing my computer, trying to get a quote on it. And so my screen was damaged, and they led me to believe that it was going to be possibly a very cheap amount, but they did tell me that if the whole screen needs to be replaced, it's going to be like 3 times that cost, right? And so they gave me the amount, so I'm just going to round it up. I don't want to give y'all any information where you can say that I bash this place, caused them to lose money, alright? I'm just going to round it up. They told me that it was going to cost me about $200 or 20,000 yen, right? Cost me 20,000 yen to get it fixed. And so they said that if the whole thing needs to be replaced, it's going to cost me 50,000 yen to get fixed. Now, the real amount is a little bit less than the amount that I'm giving you. So I was like, okay, well, I hope that it's the less one, but I'm going to, be okay with the more expensive one. I'll just have to come back later. So they told me that I had to bring it to them in person for them to see. Understandably, I understand that you can't just give me an amount from online because you can't physically see the problem. You have to, work out on, use the computer and see what exactly is wrong, what needs to be fixed. So I get there, and sure enough, they tell me that, yeah, they're sorry, it's going to be the more expensive amount that it's going to cost, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, I can't get it done today, but, I plan to come back later. So when the time comes for me to go back, I messaged them, just about a month and a half ago, and I asked them, if I could come back to the store on this certain day. So like a week later, I asked them if I can come back on this day, and I quote the price they gave me by email, FYI, so they have it in writing. And so I told them that I'm okay with paying that more expensive price, would they be able to fix my computer on this day? And they said, oh yeah. So I ended up not being able to do that, right? And so I just called them and said I'm not going to be able to, come in today, like, I'm really sorry, but, I plan to come back later. So part of me feels like this is my fault, a little bit. But I'm going to blame them because, hear me out. So this is what happened. I get to the store, y'all. So fast forward to today, right? This happened a month and a half ago where I had to cancel, right? I get to the store today, and they look at my computer, and the guy seemed to not remember. It was the same guy that I had before. And so I thought that he was the owner, but I guess he's not. After he looks at my computer, he realized that he can't get to come on. It's like, no, it does come on. You just got to put the charger in, and then the screen would come on, give it a minute. And so he did it, and he saw it. It's like, oh, it's completely gone. And so he goes to the back and talks to the guy there, and I can kind of hear them a little bit, but I couldn't really hear what they were saying. But they're talking about it's going to be really expensive. Well, the guy eventually comes back after about 10 minutes of talking to him, figuring out what they're going to do. He comes back to me and tells me it's going to be very expensive to get it fixed, right? And so I'm like, yeah, you guys told me that last time. Well, apparently he meant very expensive, more so than last time. This Japanese man, I call them J-niggas. That does not mean half black, half Japanese. Never even thought about that, but I guess I see the confusion in that. I just say that because if I say this nigga, it sounds like I'm talking about a black guy. So I shouldn't be using that word, period, but I do. So sorry, too bad. Anyway, this J-nigga come up to me, y'all. He's calculated how much it's going to be. He charges me 100,000 yen. How the fuck is it now double what it was a month and a half ago? And so at first, I was like, oh, I can't. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just ask. Because, he asked me, if I was still planning to get the service done. I'm like, well, no, but I'm not going to just get up and suddenly leave. I'm waiting for you to unplug my computer so I could take it back. Because I felt that it would be rude for me to take the charger out when he's the one who put the charger in. So I didn't say that, but I was thinking that in my mind. I felt that it would be rude for me to suddenly just rip out the charger and leave and be like, I'm not giving you guys shit. So anyway, back on subject. Even though I wanted to do that, I was like, you know what? Let me ask him. And so I just told him, I was like, just out of curiosity, why is it double the price what you quoted me? I was quoted this amount. I was quoted this 50,000 yen, right? And so it was more than double, FYI. I'm rounding it down for this. It was actually a little more than double. It was about 1 and 2.5 times more than what they quoted me. His excuse is that basically the price of the items changed. The price of the same computer to buy brand new is the exact cost that it was a month and a half ago. And if you want to try to use, fine, inflation, right? It's an Apple product. It's foreign. That doesn't even make any sense because the product is already made. So there's no adjusting for the price. There is no change with that. Not to mention, fine, you want to argue that you have to charge $20 more? Okay, makes sense. The yen is currently 62 yen to $1 US. We did not double the value of the US dollar to the yen during that time period. It dropped by 2 yen. At best, if you want to scam me, you can charge me $30 more. You can even charge me $50 more. How the fuck do you decide that it's worth double what it was a month and a half ago? I almost went off inside the store. There was another Japanese guy there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop. And I wanted to say, so are you charging Japanese this amount, or are you just charging me this because I'm a foreigner and you assume I'm an American? Which you would be right. But, this is starting to piss me off. This is what I'm talking about, you all. I'm tired of people taking advantage of foreigners with this idea that you have money so they can charge you whatever type of outrageous, crazy price that they want to. And I feel really sorry for people that aren't from the U.S. or if you're from the U.S. and you're poor, because it's just because you're a foreigner does not mean that your currency is valued at more than yen. And also, just because your currency is valued more than yen does not mean that you're getting paid in that currency or that you are a true tourist foreigner that does not live here and is getting paid in USD. Thus, yeah, you do have more money to shop with, but also, isn't that seen as scamming? I mean, think about it. If a Chinese person were to do this, they would see this as Chinese behavior, right? So why did they get away with it and we just see it as, oh, we're helping the Japanese economy? They don't even appreciate it. And in this case, like, no, we're not helping the economy. We're being fucking scammed. How the fuck do you decide that a 2 yen difference equates to being double the value? I can literally buy myself the same MacBook for less than what he's charging to just fix the fucking screen. I can literally buy that MacBook and ask you to use that MacBook and fix my screen with this screen. And even with me paying you the service cost of you moving that screen onto the other screen, it will be less than what you're charging me to just replace the screen. That's fucking crazy. Come on. What really happened was, you didn't expect for me to remember how much you quoted me, and you didn't expect me to fucking ask, but I did. And so I even said, it slipped out, but I was like, okay, but that was, less than 3 months ago, a month and a half ago. I would understand if I came to him back in, 2018, back when the yen was like 98 yen to $1, right? And then I came back today, and I was like, but you told me that the cost was only, 20,000 yen. Now, of course, that would make sense why there's a big difference in how much it costs. But, sir, more than double, almost 1.5 times what you quoted me? Seriously? You really think that I'm dumb enough to buy that? And so it's like, fuck it. He's right. Because he didn't even just me. He's like, it would make more sense, just buy a new MacBook. But that's the problem people don't understand. I'm not some little young teenager or whatever. I'm not one of these America-loving... I just realized his hair was in the wrong place all this time. But I'm not one of those, American-loving, super obsessed, just like stuff because it's from the U.S. Like, for example, a lot of people like Apple because it's the American counterpart instead of having to use Korea, Samsung, or whatever other Chinese phone. And so, with that said... I don't have such an obsession where I have to have the latest. I'm grown. I'm not in high school. I'm not a college student. I don't care about the latest phone, the latest computer. I care about what I feel comfortable with. For example, I do plan to get a new phone for myself, so I don't have to always use my husband's phone. But I don't like the new iPhones, how you have to either use the Face ID or you have to use a password. I like being able to use my iPhone 7 Plus that I still have to this day, where I can literally, just fucking press it with my thumb and, unlock the phone. I like that. In fact, I just learned a year ago that I could set it where both of my thumbs unlock the phone. I didn't even know that you could use both fingers so that you can have, with either hand, whichever one's holding it. I didn't know that. I used to, have to force myself to use my right hand. Sometimes I would, be holding on to a strap on the train. It would, irritate me that I have to, switch which hand I use or whatever. So, and I guess it comes in handy, too, if you want your partner or someone else in your family to have access to your phone so they can have their thumbprint assigned to it as well. So you both have your right thumb or whatever. So anyway, that's another story. But I like that. I prefer it. I like the way that the system is. It's cheaper too. In fact, it's also cheaper to repair as well. So again, I get it. They're already starting to have certain applications I can't use on this because it's outdated. But at the same time, if I could keep it forever, I would. I don't see a need to keep on getting a new phone each year. And a lot of you guys have been scammed into that cycle. There's no reason why a poor person should be buying a new phone every year. If you're getting Link and Section 8 and stamps and whatnot in the U.S., the idea that you're getting a brand new phone each year that costs roughly $2,000 shows that your priorities are fucked up. But we're not going to get into that. There's people that have a PlayStation 5 and a fucking iPhone 16 and shit. And it's okay, but you're getting government aid for your food. That's another story. And people living in the hood with the latest iPhone, latest gaming console, got a brand new... your car note is more than your rent. Come on, that's crazy. Or just as much. So... Anyway, my priorities ain't fucked up on that end. See, I waste money on food when I do waste money, but anyway, this is my thing. I don't like people abusing and taking advantage of me. And for me, I don't just want to fix this computer because it's cheaper to fix than buy a new one. That's not the reason I wanted this to get fixed. I wanted it to get fixed because I have things on that computer that I cannot download elsewhere. For example, I have computer programs that I can no longer gain access to again, and it's because I have it downloaded and saved on that computer that I'm able to access it. If I were to buy a new computer, sure, I can use the software to edit my videos, like iMovie, whatever, but I lose the content that's on the computer that is not saved and backed up the cloud. There are things that I have just on that computer, and I don't want to lose that stuff. And people don't seem to understand this. I didn't bother arguing back and forth with him, but I hate that people have this mindset of, oh, you're crazy. Why are you trying to fix it? Just get a new computer. And sure, you're right. I could just do that. But it's that's not the issue. Because if that's the case, fine. I can use my husband's computer. I mean, we share it really, but it was his. He had this before he met me. But I want to fix mine. I know that I can buy a new one, but then I lose stuff that's on that one. So, But yeah, they getting one over on these people. They just assume that, oh, well, you know, this is nothing to you guys. It's not worth anything because, you know, yen is worth so little, and trying to pretend like they're suddenly these starving children in Africa all of a sudden. So it just blows my mind how they can scam you right in front of your face and lie about the fact they're doing it. Make up excuses. Just like I saw these stupid white foreigners. You can literally look at the reviews for the restaurant with people leaving them 5-star ratings and whatnot and saying, oh, we have no problem helping out Japan and paying more money. They are literally insulting you. They're saying that you don't appreciate food, you're fat and greedy, and hey, we realize that you guys make more money, so we're going to charge you more. That is called scamming, taking advantage of. Because by that standard, you should have no problem giving away money to Nigerian princes. They are poor. They need your money. That's why they're scamming. Are you going to help the economy in Nigeria then? Help out people in the Philippines then. They're scamming you all for green cards. Are we going to say love is love, and even if they only love you for a visa, they still love you? Is that what we're going to start saying now? I mean, I guess some of y'all are, but I'm done. It just pissed me off so much because I'm like, I came all the way here on the promise that this was the price we agreed upon. And I could even understand you finding other issues and having to charge me a little bit more. But sir, more than double the price from a month and a couple of weeks ago. The yen rate did not change that damn much. You're now scamming. And I felt really upset. You know, I felt conflicted because I had a great experience. Really, when I went there that time today, and the other time that I went there, and the times that I communicated by email, had a great experience with them. They came off as kind. And sure, I guess if, you know, I just got money to blow, I would have still probably had a great experience if I left my computer there for them to fix. And the only reason why I'm not going to leave them a negative review, I might need to go back there because I do plan to get that computer fixed. I want the content that's on there. But I was like, you know what? You're right. So guess what I did? I went ahead and I bought a new computer today, and I'm waiting for it to come. But man, that just pissed me off so much. I'm like, I want to get my computer fixed. And I understand charging a little bit more because, for example, the yen rate did adjust a little bit. But come on. Not only are you not going to honor the price that you locked in with me last time, you're now going to significantly raise it. And by that standard, when I first met with them back in January, yen was like, what, 65 or 68 yen? So if anything, why didn't the price change back in, you know, May, April, whatever? It should have changed by then because it dropped by a couple of yen. So why are you suddenly now charging me more than double the price? He didn't even acknowledge it. He waited for me to ask, hey, just out of curiosity, why is the price jacked up from what you told me last time? And to be honest, part of me feels like, did they just not want to serve me? And so they purposely made the price ridiculously high so that this way I would go somewhere else instead of getting it done there? And then it pisses me off. And I swear, I'm trying my best to write a negative review. That encouraged me to write a negative review because you literally wasted my time, you wasted my money, and you got my hopes up. I wasted time and money getting here for no reason. Now for the second time. That pissed me the fuck off. And the only reason why I'm going to take a little bit of accountability, I didn't tell them I was coming today. But they knew that I was planning to go back again, so, oh look, they don't have a million customers. I just feel as a matter of good customer service, let me know that your rate has changed. You know, as they say, you know, the price, yesterday's price isn't today's price or whatever. Like, they pulled that shit on me. And the thing that I wonder is, part of me wants to like have my husband go there, but see, it'll be too soon. It'd be too much of a coincidence. I almost want to have him go there with a computer that has the same problem, but see, I would have to be able to get a computer that's broken in the same way, which that would be impossible to do and a waste of money. And see, would they charge the same amount for the same problem? But it would be too suspicious if I had him send an email or a call or, you know, or even go in person. So, it just made me so angry. And I hate that I'll never know the answer. Like, were they just charging me because they want to serve me? Or were they just charging me this because I'm a foreigner and they think, oh, you know, she's Miss Moneybags? Or I don't know what it was all about. So, and me wearing this damn ring didn't help either. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't care if I was wearing like decked out Louis Vuitton and shit. What I'm wearing doesn't matter. If the price is this, that's how much I should be charged. And I'm not one of those dumb ass-kissing, brown-nosing foreigners here that are like, oh, I love Japan so much. I love to give you... You know what I would like to do? If Japan had signs up saying, due to the weak economy, we really appreciate if you guys give us more money or start tipping our servers to make them, you know, more happy, you know, working here, whatever. I would be all for that. I have no problem with tipping you all because my culture is already, we've been doing that for the longest. Now tips have just gotten even crazier. I would be okay with doing that. If you asked us to donate, I would be okay with doing that. But you charging me more money because I don't look like you, I'm not from where you are, or because I don't speak and read Japanese as well as you do, That's scamming. And the bogus thing is, I said this before inside that video, I don't know which you'll see first, they're not putting that money towards their workers. That money is going to the pockets of these rich-ass restaurant owners. They're being greedy. They're not giving you better service. They're not giving you better quality food. They're not doing shit extra for you. They are literally just taking advantage of you and putting it under the disguise of, oh, the yen rate has decreased and, the US dollar is worth so much more, so we need your money. And if you look at the excuses that they really gave, that wasn't why they said that. They were saying that they were charging more. They gave a whole laundry list of fake ass reasons. Oh, foreigners don't know how to appreciate the food. Okay, then put a sign up saying we only serve one dish at a time. Some restaurants actually do that. Or if you don't want to do that, put a sign up saying any food that you don't eat that's wasted, we will charge you by the plate. Problem solved. No one's gonna waste food anymore. Literally, give people a little brochure thing at the table, add it to the menu, have the staff point to it so they know the rules. Some places in Kyoto was doing this back in 2017. Why can't y'all do that here in Tokyo? They literally create problems and bitch about them. If you really care about food waste, offer to-go containers. Right, y'all don't want to do that. So it was never about food waste. It's about profit and prejudice. That's what it's really all about. That should be a video, profit and prejudice. But, alright, I'm done, y'all. I'm done. It just made me upset. I wasted my time, came all the way there for no reason. Then I had to be hot and sweaty and walk all the way back, which I won't lie, it was an easier walk going back home because I got turned around a little bit trying to figure out where this place was, because the location isn't hard to find per se, but it's off, on a alley road or whatever. So again, staff was kind, not gonna lie, but they're liars. They were trying to cheat me. They didn't even explain and say, I know we quoted you this amount, but things change. No, they waited for me to ask, why are you now charging me double? And he was like a deer in headlights, that's because the prices of the items. Oh, really? Show me. Where did you decide that the price of these items cost more? Because I literally have my fucking computer and my Amazon cart, and the price is the fucking same. I literally went to Big Camera. I went to Yamada Denki, and guess what? They are charging the same amount they were charging for that damn computer 2 months ago. I can get a refurbished version of it. So how the fuck did you determine that the screen costs double now? And that was the price they were charging me for both the screen and the work of them fixing my screen. Putting the new screen on. Get the fuck out of here. So, and again, I can't say this. I gotta kiss Japan's ass, right? After pretend, they weren't trying to scam you. It's just that, they need to be paid for their hard work. I can buy the entire computer almost twice over for the amount that they're charging. That computer is old. It's almost 10 years old. I got it, 8 years ago, whatever. It's not worth that much. Is it valuable? Yes, because it's a MacBook. They would literally be able to buy a computer, take the screen off of that one, and get another computer still with the amount that I'm about to give them. That is not service work. Get the fuck out of here. Not to replace a screen, depending on how busy the store is, or any store for that matter, it can be done in as short as a couple of hours and no more than a couple of days. And you best believe these nerds are not spending all damn day long fixing that shit. They've probably done this 50 different times. They know what the fuck they're doing. They're scamming and taking advantage. I have no problem paying you for your work. No problem with tipping you for your hard work. But don't you dare try to charge me more than double. And I want to know, are they charging their Japanese customers that much? Because I don't think they are. The price of the latest iPhone did not double because the yen rate tanked down to 62 yen per US dollar. They may have raised the prices a little bit because now it's costing them more money to get the shit imported. But even then, I don't even know if that gets affected by it. Because the phones that they have here in Japan are made specifically for Japan. It's not based off of the price of US phones or the US dollar. All of this shit is being made in a factory in China on behalf of the US. Their phones are wired differently where they have a fucking permanent camera sound. So we're not using the same phones. They have Japanese instruction manuals and whatnot. The phone is preset to be in Japanese. They have a completely different system. So there ain't no way in hell you're going to have me believing that an old, nearly 10-year-old computer is now costing you double. When I literally have gone to 3 different places and saw the price change by no more than a few thousand yen over the course of 6 months. And I do mean literally a couple of thousand yen, if even that. So, I'm just so mad. And again, it's communication. Fine, it's my fault for not telling you guys I was coming today. You're right. He didn't say that, but that's why I didn't go back and forth. And it wasn't going to do anything anyway. I don't want some angry nigga trying to fix my shit, because all I was going to do is break it, fuck it up, and, screw me over. So I'm not trying to get an attitude with them. I just accepted it and I left and was like, okay. And I said thank you and I pushed in my chair. But I ain't no dummy. So, look, I'm going to have to go back there anyway, so maybe I am a dummy. That's why I'm not going to completely burn the bridge. Just know. You can do a quick Google search and figure out where I went, because there are not any other places with that type of name. They're the only place here that does repairs that actually have Apple's name in the name of their business, which I'm pretty sure is not legal to do, but whatever. Anyway, you'll know what I'm talking about if you live here in Tokyo. And again, I'm not going to knock them. Their service is probably great. They probably really know what they're doing and they fix your shit up nice. I can't speak on that, but I will say they are definitely taking advantage of people that they think have money, or they're trying to discourage people that are foreigners from getting service done there. I don't know which one it is. So, because that did not leave a good taste in my mouth. There ain't no way in hell. It's one thing to even change the price, but the fact they tried to lie and say that it was because the price of these things went up when it did not. That's a lie. So you're telling me that if I bring my own computer, you can fix it then for half the cost then again, or less than that? Because now I'm giving you the screen. All I need you to do is take this screen off of this one and put it on that one. Can you do that? That's my next question. In fact, I'm not going to lie, that might be what I do. Because now I would have bought the computer myself. So, I purposely made sure I didn't leave on bad terms in case I do need to come back. So, look, I'm bitching to you all about what I wanted to say to them. So, be careful out there, foreigners. They scamming the fuck out of us, especially if you're an American, especially if you look like you have money. They don't give a fuck. They're speaking out of both sides of their mouth. They see themselves as being superior to everyone else, but then they also want you to feel sorry for them and worship them. And at the same time, they want you to give them money, but they don't want you to serve. They don't want to serve you inside the restaurants. They don't want to allow you to have access to their spaces. But at the same time, they're begging you, please be a tourist here. Please give us your money, but also give us your money and then fuck off. What a wonderful way to attract US dollars. Or, this is the time where you need tourism. Because think about it. Your yen is worth shit. Imagine if no one was visiting Japan while their yen is tanked. They would really be in trouble. I mean, your economy is already about to be fucked in the next 20, 30 years. All the old people are dying off. Their baby boomers will not be here anymore. And your young people, Gen X fucked everything up. Millennials are currently fucking everything up. And Gen Z is joining them in that. You got all these childless couples, people having one baby, people with all these fertility issues. You're making a country that foreigners don't want to live in. And then even ones that are visiting here, you're attracting the broke Gen Z people that have no money. The people that are looking for budget hotels, for discount food, the people that are just shopping in the touristy areas and, buying fucking, cheesy bread and shit. People that aren't really helping the economy. These are the people that are getting. It's funny because they're bitching about it. And it's like, that's all y'all deserve. When people try to live here, y'all treat them like trash. When people want to shop at nicer, more expensive, more authentic, old-fashioned Japanese restaurants, no foreigners allowed. Japanese only. Okay, well, then don't complain when your economy go to shit. Just keeping it real. And look, these old dinosaur-ass niggas, they don't give a fuck because they finna die anyway. They only got 10, 20 years left inside of them. So they don't give a fuck. This is going to be the young people's problem. But don't get it wrong. The young people are just as racist as the old people here. And that's another lie that I was told by white foreigners before I came to Japan. Oh, it's the old people. They're dinosaurs. They're stuck in their ways. The old people raise the young people. So if the old people think that way, the young people do too. Most of them do. There are exceptions to that rule. For example, in the U.S., we could argue most young people are not necessarily prejudiced. But guess what? There's a lot of people who are. There's a lot of young people that are. You want to know why? Because they were raised by parents who are. And like most people, your parents' religion, their political views, the way that they think, the way that they do stuff, you inherit that from them. If your parents are Islamic, you're likely going to be Muslim. Your parents are Christian, you're likely going to be Muslim too. You don't get to get grandfathered in, but you grow up with that culture and you choose to follow that religion, that practice, that way of discipline, that way of talking, that way of thinking. Even the language, you learn from your parents. I'm sorry, but to be honest, if I were to really think about it, I've probably had more racist interactions with Japanese children than I have with adults. Not even from being people's teachers. I mean, I can literally walk around a junior high school or a high school, get on a train with these kids, and I can literally hear them saying anti-foreigner stuff, whether it's to me or about other people or people in general. So I'm sorry, that whole, it's the old people. No, it's them too. It's the young people and old people. The people that I was dating prior to getting married. Them too. So, I'm done. Love Japan, but Japan, y'all got your issues, and in this case, y'all scamming. Y'all are being just as, what do you call it? Just as deplorable, just as crappy as the Chinese that they hate so much. They're literally following in their footsteps. It seems like some shit that I would expect somewhere in China, or, I don't know, some other Asian country. I wouldn't expect this from Japan, but nope. They're just as screwed up and scammy as anybody else. So, interesting. Shouldn't even be surprised at this point, but it's my first time ever dealing with a complete ridiculous inflated price, and they were deserving of a 1-star review after that. I almost left, and I'm not gonna lie, I might do it eventually, but I ain't gonna do it right now. I'm gonna leave it to myself. I'll let somebody else get scammed by them, and I'll let them leave the bad review. It's not gonna come from me. So anyway, you can do an easy Google search and find the shop that I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure it's the only shop in the Tokyo area that does this. Let me give you a little hint. It's off of the Oedo line. I'll leave it at that. But I will say this, if I do ever go there, they ain't finna get a 5-star review from me. I'm not gonna leave shit if I do have a good experience. So, again, the staff was nice, sure, but I don't see you as being nice. Anybody can be nice and smile while they're scamming you. I guess if you're getting extra money off of somebody, you should be all smiles and happy and treating me well. So, and then the funny thing is, if this was like a Nigerian shop, a Chinese owned, they would be full of negative reviews, foreigners and Japanese, like, everybody would be trashing them, dunking on them. But see, when they do, we gotta be understanding. Oh, you just didn't get it. It's Japanese. Make up all these excuses, right? Because they're angels. They would never do something so evil. A Japanese person scamming. No, it's the Nigerians. And it's like, who owns those brothels? Who owns those sketchy bars? Now, granted, fine. The Nigerians, the Koreans, the Chinese, whatever, the Filipinos, they're taking these jobs as these street people, right? Okay, fair enough. But who taught them the scam? Who's really getting the big cut? Who's the big dog on top? The Japanese. See how they use you as the scapegoat? You get the blame for being the bad person, but the real evil person is the one that's teaching you to do it. The real evil person is the person that actually makes the money. Them Africans are getting crumbs. The people really making the profit is Taro and Sachiko at the top. I'm just saying. But alright, I'm done. Go ahead, get mad. Get in your feelings. I don't give a fuck. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your experiences have been here in Japan. Have you experienced people purposefully or accidentally charging you different rates because you're a foreigner, or people blaming inflation on crazy price, gouges and whatnot going on now? Because again, I would, this isn't even a realistic inflation thing, but let's just say that it was, alright? I could even accept 50,000 yen more. How the hell do you, or that almost is 50,000, more than double that, not 50,000, 5,000 yen more. I can understand a 5,000 yen more price. I could even be generous and let them do 50. How the hell do you end up calculating that now you need, 70,000 yen more than what you quoted me initially? About that much. Might even be more than that. Where do you get those numbers from? Show me what you were looking at that showed you what these prices are going to be. Where are you planning to get these parts from? Because let's also keep it real. Their goal is to make profit. They're not going to go out and buy me a new computer. They're going to use one of the old scrap computers that they have, look in some sort of junkyard, and use one of those products while also charging me double. They making some good ass money. So, and I know that y'all weeboos that love brown nose and the Japanese, y'all probably have no problem. Oh, I would gladly pay 6 million yen to get my computer fixed because I'm not worthy to be in Japan. So, I don't feel that way. Sorry, you can't relate. So anyway, I'm done. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you have not already. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Comic95. Please consider supporting me on Patreon for $5 per month. You'll get access to over 150 videos instantly upon signing up. If you have any video ideas, questions, comments you would like to leave, please leave it down in the comment section below, or you can send me an email directly with your video idea, topic, whatever that you want to talk about, or that you want me to talk about in a future video. And yeah, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel's homepage. I have videos on working, studying, dating, and living here in Japan. And that's all for now. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching, and I hope you'll watch another video. Bye.